Hello, everyone. Welcome to LOA Uncorked. This is Holly.
And this is Jeanna.
And this is going to be a really great episode.
I know. If you're on YouTube, everybody can see it. Like she's grinning. The eyes are a little wild. This is the normal when we have a phenomenal guest with us today. So
yes,
share,
you
Holly.
said it, Jeanna.
Yep.
We have Jamie Lerner with us today, who wrote the book, The Ever-Loving Essence of You. Create a long-term connected relationship with yourself. She also has many other accolades that she's going to talk about, and many other things that she does that I think is really unique. So I can't wait to get into that and get into this episode. Welcome, Jamie.
Hi, Jamie.
Hello. Thank you for inviting me.
Welcome. Thank you so much for being with us today. And, we've spent quite a bit of time on this podcast introducing guests who really live a divine lifestyle, that really follow their path, follow their inner gifts, follow their inner voices, and show us a way to expertise, acumen, awareness that is just divine. And so your background was one that stood out to both Holly and I predominantly, and we were so excited to have you share a little bit about yourself. What brought you to where we're at today in your career, what some of those major milestones are, just anything that you think is foundational and fundamental to who you are today, Jeremy, that would be helpful for our audience to know as we continue in the conversation today.
Okay.
Great.
Well, I was born with a knowing, but I think we all are. I did not have a connection with my mom. And I was always very connected to myself, and I always heard my own voice. And because of my inability to find that connection with my mom, my own voice became my lifeline, much more important. And so I'm really appreciative for having chosen my mom, because I think that unconsciously we do choose our mothers before we are born. And in particular, she really was a reminder to me at all times how important it was for me to maintain my connection to myself. So I think, once again, that it's how we come into this world. And then the contrast of just life, we tend to move further and further away from our intuition, our inner knowing, our inner being. But it's so easy to get back there. And when we do, I feel like we kind of feel like we've come home, because we are then able to guide ourselves from the inside out. And that's pretty amazing. So
I love that. I find your mother to be very iconic for me, as you described her, how she lived her life, and how exciting your home life was. I had the exact opposite of that. And so I was like, oh, how interesting. And however, I didn't know, I know we all have a knowing. And I think you were really tapped into that.
Yeah, very
I
so.
was, I do believe we select our mothers, and my mother had a daughter that passed before me, who was 5. And so she had me while she was still grieving. She probably grieved her whole life. So I came into the world with this mother who was grieving, and I had no sense of, I think I shut down that knowing when I was young. And so, and I know that you said your mother wasn't connected, that you kind of helped her connect to that knowing. So I know that you have a foundation in both being connected and also seeing when you're not connected, and to that knowing inside of you, because I had no idea what that was. In fact, it's been later in my life that I finally found that. I always thought I was deeply alone. And so for our listeners that have not tapped into their knowing, what advice do you have for them?
Well, first, know that you have knowing, and that it is available to you at all times. And absolutely, it's tapping you on the shoulder day and night. And most of us are saying, not now, I'm too busy, I can't deal with it. It's that little voice that's very troublesome and bothersome, because it's asking us to look in instead of looking out. And most of us have chosen to look out as a distraction from looking in. So that inner knowing will never go away. It's on call 24/7. It's available to you. And if you're interested in reconnecting with it, to begin to just sit quietly with yourself, I think is the first great way to do it, and become familiarized with that warm blanket of unconditional love.
I love. And when you say like that voice, and just for our listeners, it's not, for many people, it's not something audible. It's just more of a feeling or a thought or a pervasive
nagging.
Nagging is a great word. Yes,
that's what you say about me.
A little bit
knowing.
Different than knowing.
I feel
that's more like telling, but thank you. But yes, it's a little bit like that. So it's more of a, if you were to listen to your gut, what do you in your inner self feel like is the right way to go, or the right thing in this situation, or the right. It's more of that than a true voice or whisper, right?
Well, I think it can feel like nagging because it never ceases. It's a constant, and because it's a constant, it will never give up, which makes it quite annoying. However, when we allow ourselves to tune in even a little bit and get a feel for it, I think that we are reassured that yes, in fact, this is important, and it is our intuition. And for most of us, we can remember lots of times when we had a gut feeling about something and we chose not to listen to it. Right. And I have never heard anyone say, I should not have listened to myself. Right. But you hear people all the time say, I should have listened to myself, because we always know for ourselves. We don't know for another, but we know for ourselves.
God, that's so.
I guess there is a don't difference. Know for you.
Well, you think you know. I mean, I think you really take an agency of my knowing.
I really do.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yes.
But Jamie says I don't, so I guess I don't.
No, you don't. Yeah.
Thank you, Jamie.
I'm sorry.
Next time she does it again, I'm gonna say, Jamie said no. No,
Holly. No,
not you.
Exactly. I love that. Well, as Jamie was telling us right before we pushed record, it is February, the month of love.
Yes.
Venus is now not retrograde anymore. Thank God. We can all get our hair cut and get our Botox. Okay. So we are free. Okay. And we're free for self-love.
Yeah.
So Jamie, maybe you can talk a little bit about why you're passionate about self-love, and we won't talk about this bitches up or any of that nonsense that Jeanna gets mad at me for rebranding self-love as. I mean,
although Jamie seemed to like it, because
she's probably just humoring me.
Because she said no means no, and you don't have agency over me. I will agree with her that this bitches up is good.
Okay.
Oh no, yes.
Okay.
I mean, this is how things work, right? So I agree, Jamie.
So yes.
Sure.
Well, the relationship that we have with ourselves is the most important relationship that we will ever have. And it is the only relationship that we then will go on to have relationships with others or not. So if we do not love ourselves and we do not embrace ourselves, then how can we expect to go on and have relationships with other people? It's not possible. So since it's the foundation, that's where we have to start. And for most of us, we've avoided all of that by stepping into roles where we just take care of other people. And then we get really resentful and really upset and really depleted. And then no one feels good. Not the person that we're extending ourselves to, not us, it's a lose-lose. Right. So, the way around that is to begin to step into a little self-care. And I think that is pretty important to do.
And what does that look like, Jamie? Is it going out and getting massages? Is it, because I feel like it's been commercialized. Self-love is, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe that's a part of it, but it's been a little commercialized by saying, go get a spa treatment. You'll feel better. Okay. And you'll love yourself more.
We'll have a glass of wine with the ladies. Go.
Well, she can talk about some of those things that we can do to escape the self-love.
Exactly.
Probably.
But I think that's, I do think there's a lot of people who feel like that is
taking care of yourself. Well, hanging out with friends might be. I mean, when we crack the bubbles, Jeanna, I'm always thinking that's self-love.
That is self-love.
Okay.
Yes,
but so what does that look like? Yeah. So if I am committed today, I'm going to do more self-love. I want to improve my life in every way, because you're right. It improves everything, not just relationships, but it's almost like the world and the energy around you just changes. And so what can people do to usher more of that in?
I don't think that we need to be committed. That's
okay,
huge.
Good.
That's
okay.
That's even alarming. Like, no one needs to be committed. However,
Jeanna tries to get me committed.
I know. Well, thank God for me. Too bad for you.
Yeah, I love that. You're right, though. I have extreme language in that way, which is shocker. Okay, shocker, yeah. I just need to go lay down on your couch, Jamie. That's what I need to do, because you're right. I want to fiercely commit.
No,
right?
Yeah. Just how about just sit with yourself for 5 minutes at the beginning of the day with some coffee or tea or something, and to tune in to yourself and come up with 3 things that you feel you appreciate about yourself. That's it.
I love that.
That is it.
That would be
every day.
That is the big. Well, let's just start with one day. Let's just do, like, how about one day?
Okay.
And again, we're not committing, so calm down. Every day.
I gotta do that every day and come up with new things.
Oh my God. Oh Lord.
And how does that feel? I mean, because the idea that we could begin to appreciate ourselves, I think that is really a good feeling. We're not waiting for someone else to appreciate us. We're appreciating ourselves. We're acknowledging ourselves. And that sends a message that we're important to ourselves.
Right.
And that's pretty powerful. That means we're not looking outside of ourselves for anything, because we're able to give it to ourselves. Right. You know, and when we love ourselves, we love everybody else. And when we don't, we are not happy with anything. So that is a win. But it's also like, if you can start giving yourself the things that you are wishing others people would give you, that would be amazing.
Right.
Because if you can't, you'll never accept those things from another either. They'll just be a temporary fix. But you will not have internalized those things, because you have to give it to yourself.
Right.
So Jamie, there's a lot of us, and I'm not thank God there's no mirror here, Jeanna, because I'd have to go like this with big eyes. Okay. So there's some of us that can't really receive. Yeah. And so I struggle just having somebody come help me
the same question.
do whatever. And I know you're kind of similar to me.
Yeah.
Okay. But
you're like on the extreme, I think.
She says I'm committed to not receiving.
Jamie just said so. You're extreme.
Yeah. So that is an act of not self-love. Is that true? And how do you perceive that? But it is epidemic. I'm saying I'm it, but there's a lot of people that are 100%. Like me.
Yeah.
I think that at the core, we feel unworthy.
Yeah.
So, but on the other hand, we're resentful that no one's doing it for us. But we can't ask them to, because they should just know to come and do it. But if they did come and just do it, we wouldn't probably even allow them to come do it. That's a no-win too. So, you know, and I think that happens a lot in relationships, because we want people to read our minds. We want people to know how we feel. We want people to just kind of like step in and take care of the things that we're really responsible for taking care of ourselves. And when they don't, we're resentful. And then we feel guilty about being resentful. And it's just like an endless.
Our minds are just curiously interesting, aren't they?
Oh, for sure. I mean, yeah, for sure. You know, and it's interesting because someone like Holli really does have a difficult time receiving. We've talked about it on the podcast before, and is such a masterful, supportive, mindful giver.
Oh, that's really nice. Thank you, Jeanna.
It's true. I mean, in an amazing way. So it puts friends around her in a harder spot of, she doesn't need any help. She's incredible. But when you want to help, it makes it even harder to step in and let her just take a break. And so it's just fascinating to watch. And you're definitely doing better in this area. You really are.
Maybe it's control or some creepy other weird thing.
I'm not judging it. It just definitely is. I would expect somebody who doesn't allow in is probably not as adept as Holli is about the giving component to others. And so it just it puts on highlight how inequitable that those coffers and resources around giving and love and care are for people, because she doesn't necessarily need it very often.
But would you like it, Holli? But would you like it? Because there's a difference between needing it and liking it.
Sometimes I would like it. Mm-hmm. Sometimes I would like it. And what I noticed was, and this isn't with my friends for sure, but what I noticed with my children, so I've got my two older children living at home right now. They're not old, but they're older. And I noticed that I do everything. And then something snaps in my brain. And I'm like, why is there trash here? Why do I have to take this? And
right.
Nobody knows. It's like, they can't read my mind. And, right. Instead of being at the crazy end of like, you got to go do this, this, and this, then I become militant and shouting out orders. Like, you need to do this, this, and this.
So opposite
show
of your
up,
personality. Yeah.
So opposite of me. Everybody's like, what happened to my mom? Where is she? Bring her back. But that's like, I didn't set boundaries. I mean, and I don't know whether you want to talk to boundaries and self-love, but I feel like, part of self-love for me is setting boundaries and saying, this is what my expectations are. Can you do that? Can we work that out? And we have done that. I mean, we've done that, but they'll start creeping in, and then I don't correct it. And then I go, it takes a long time, and then I snap. But that's what I see less with friends.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I think it's really confusing for people on the receiving end of that, because they don't understand what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And so there's really no way for you to give unconditionally under those circumstances, which means in the way that you're giving, it's not genuine, which means it's probably not being received the way you would like to,
of course,
think of it as how it's being given. So that's another reason to kind of get a handle on this, because wouldn't it feel better to genuinely, unconditionally feel so good about yourself that you could spill over into and onto everyone else in such a caring way that it felt good to them and felt good to you. And that happens when you take care of yourself first. So first and foremost, and then it's just a natural extension of that. You're so available to care for others because you're so full.
Because you're so full. I love how you said that. And I wonder too about one of the things I always, this is so funny. I mean, your kids always mirror back exactly what you need to learn, right? And so I'm laughing at myself. Okay. So I always tell them, you give not to ever get anything in return. Like, you give because your heart wants to give. It's not about, you don't feel obligated. You don't feel, but yet when I went crazy the other day, I said, I just bought you a ticket for LA. And he goes, but I'm not, you didn't do that for me so that I take the garbage out. Okay. And I went, shit. Yeah. Right. So that was coming from a place of lack and, not genuine.
You were depleted already.
And yeah. Right.
So yeah, that's great. I mean, it's good your kids can call you out.
And then I laugh. I'm like, oh my God. Okay. Why am I like this? Oh, I guess I'm human. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm so happy this is a therapy session for me.
Me too.
But it's not just you. I know. It's really most people, and they don't even understand what's even transpiring. But believe me, the person on the other end has even less.
Yeah.
They're like confused.
Yeah. Poor Nico. Well, it's true. And like I said, I mean, Holli is not that type of personality. So even if for Holli to get to a spot, and she's usually energetically very full, comes at the world from a very much a LOA, I do things because I want to, and from my heart, not because I feel obligated to do that, or none of that nonsense. I mean, you've been saying that for years and years and years. So, but even for her to have those moments of complete lack and breakdown, and, you know, it says that we're all subject to it if we're not careful, right? And not filling ourselves up. If
we're not mindful. And I think that mindful is so helpful, because mindful puts the responsibility back on us. Like, what am I needing in this moment to feel connected to myself? And that's the question. And it's not a question that you can answer in a moment. It's just a question you have to sit with, because every moment's different. And once you have the answer, a choice, what do you want to do with that answer?
Right.
And that's another choice. Do I want to nurture and nourish myself back into connection or not? Some people would say, no, I don't want to right now. I just want to stay disconnected to myself and blame everyone. Okay, that's a choice. Mm-hmm. But at least you're taking responsibility for it, you know? And I think there's a lot of power in that.
There is. I love that you say it, and you talk about this in your book, nourishing to connection, nourishing yourself to connection, which you just said there. And part of that is there a practice that you stop and ask yourself, what do I need? And is that how you would approach that if you feel like you're...
Because what I need when I'm depleted is very different than what I think Holli needs.
Yeah, it is different for everybody. And when I find myself disconnected, which I have to say is not very often, because I have no tolerance for being disconnected. I'm that sensitive to how I feel. I laugh because it's funny. Because in that moment, it is funny. It means that there's going to be some bad behavior that's going to happen. So I kind of catch myself, and I know at that moment I need to check in and make a decision. It's a choice. And I'm doing all this for me, not for someone else. It doesn't have to do with any other person, nothing. But the benefit is that if I feel good and I'm connected, I am present with every person I'm present. And to be present with somebody is the greatest gift that we can give other people. Be present with ourselves and then just present with others.
Absolutely.
So what do you say to us females who feel this selfishness kind of creep in when we do take those for whatever you're doing, whether it's the 5 minutes in the morning that maybe somebody doesn't have, that the kids are knocking on the door and they're getting bugged to get them breakfast or whatever it is, to more ways by which people will identify once they are quiet and get clear about what they need to do to fill themselves up, that they may require some time or investment or attention that takes it away from others who have been used to it. Right. So, for many of us who have had to go back and change how we distribute our energy, it will, for a period of time, create a deficit somewhere where you were perhaps providing it, that it will have to be redirected back internally. Right. So I'm just kind of curious about that bridge, making that change and helping people feel comfortable enough with that, and that selfishness that creeps in I would say probably primarily for women who feel like, I think we were raised to put other people first, and that's how we were good, is how good other people were,
depleted we were.
Yeah, or how good everyone else around us was a reflection on how good we are, right?
So I think it's going to be a shift, not a change. You don't have to change anything. You can shift. And I don't think you have to fill yourself up completely. It can just be a moment. So to say to your children, guys, I need a moment with myself, a moment. And then to take yourself somewhere for a moment and to assess, what do you need in this moment? Moment. It's just a moment.
That's so good.
Is it a breath? Is it coffee? Do you need to just put your headphones on and listen to a song? I mean, what do you need? But then it's a quality control issue. What kind of quality are you wanting to give to these people you're giving to? Are you just going to go through the motions? Or do you really want to give them something that's going to be a value to you, be a value to them?
I love that. I will tell you, Jeanna, like I used to, when the kids were littler, I started TM and I thought, well, I'm going to do this Transcendental Meditation.
Yeah.
I'm going to be religious about it, which, you got to squeeze it in the morning and at night. I don't do that anymore, but it was great to do it. If you can, you would, but I would come home and the kids would be like, if I come home and, it was immediately, I didn't have help at the time.
Right.
I was like, okay, I've got to get dinner. I've got kids that are hungry.
Homework and
I'd come in and if I looked a little wild-eyed, okay, the kids are like, you need to go meditate. They actually start telling you.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Yeah. And that was 20 minutes. That wasn't a moment. Okay. So I think you can stop that energy and just take a moment and say, okay, what do I need? Maybe it's a few breaths. Maybe it's maybe it's just a connection to myself.
Maybe it's a glass of wine. I mean, whatever it is.
Yes.
It doesn't matter what it is.
I really feel like for much of my kids when they were growing up, when I was working and traveling all the time, and I traveled quite a bit for work, I really didn't feel present at all. Even when I was home, I feel like I wasn't, I was there, but I had my mind on other things and I wasn't fully like present in it. I listened to what they said. I responded to what they said, but I wasn't in it with them in that way. And I feel like I probably have still some work to do to get back to that point where I'm fully present more than I am today even.
Well, but the only reason to do that is because that would feel good to you. Because if that wouldn't feel good to you, like don't bother. Because it didn't
feel good to me though. Even in the moment, it didn't feel good to me, but I was so busy. I didn't, and I didn't feel that permission to like, just take the time for myself and do my inner work so that I could be there with them. So it didn't feel good to me. It still doesn't feel good to me. And I can tell when I'm doing it.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's the practices that you're talking about. I will do because there's still some work for me to do there, but it kind of makes me sad to think about it, to be honest.
Hopefully it's not work, and don't be sad. I mean, because
don't be sad. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, you can shift in and out of this just with ease. You don't have to be guilted into it. Right. Once again, this is for you. It's really all for you.
Yeah. Yeah. No, thank you for that.
No, I love that. And don't feel sad because we all did it. Okay.
Oh,
I mean, we all did it. I have a million things I'm trying to solve in my mind. We both, operated as, corporate executives for quite a while. So, we had big things happening, and like most people have big things happening, but we thought we had a lot. Okay. I don't know.
Well, most of us take ourselves way too seriously, which is and that is ridiculous.
Exactly. And yeah, I mean, so you go in and out, but it's interesting because I think like it would be if I could do over, I would do that over a little bit differently. But you think about, you weren't like that all the time because like if you go back and really review when they came home, you were present, you hugged them, for sure. Okay, so they droned on and on and on and on. Okay, and so you're solving problems. Okay, there's nothing wrong with that, Jeanna. I just say like be efficient.
No, that's what I say. It's turned into a therapy session for me too.
Be efficient, Jeanna.
Yeah,
okay, no, I'm kidding, but you don't want to feel bad about it. Yeah.
Well, I love how you're talking about it though. In that it's not some radical big new thing you've got to apply in your life to get there. It's simple. It's the whole, whether it's a minute or 5 minutes you give yourself is centered just to go inward and ask yourself what you need. It's that simple is what you're saying. Yeah.
What do I need in this moment?
In this moment.
What do I need is big, but the moment it's just a moment. Every morning I make my husband's lunch, I make my dog's lunch, I make, and I also make my own lunch. And I make my own lunch first, and then I make everyone else's lunch. And I have to tell you, it's important.
Gosh, I love that.
Mm-hmm. I love that. Well, and making lunch while you're being present is like giving food love. Okay. Like I'm a big food love person.
Don't make an angry lunch.
No, I won't eat. If you're angry, I'm not eating your food, Jamie.
But think about it. To mindfully prepare lunch for yourself first, it feels so good. It really does. And then you feel so good about preparing other people's lunches because you've really nurtured yourself.
Not only that, for people who like, I'm a little bit of a bingy person, so I'm trying to heal that essence of me, at times. And so when you're mindful, even about making your lunch and the beautiful food and giving yourself blessings. Now, how are you going to go? I mean, I'm not going to go eat a bunch of Twinkies, but that's the only thing I could think of right now. I usually would binge on healthy food.
Yeah.
Okay.
But if you're going to eat a bunch of Twinkies, put them on a beautiful plate and take a knife and fork and sit down and cut that Twinkie up and slowly enjoy every fucking bite of the Twinkie.
I love that. I want to come have Valentine's Day with her.
I know.
Can we go to her house? I don't know where she is, but it looks nice. Let's go.
It does look very nice. I know. Yes. I will promise you I won't let her go.
I know. She's going to put a restraining order on me again.
It's been known to happen. Yes. It's been known to happen.
But that's another way to turn something that people consider binging into just like a lovely reward or treat for yourself.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, and it's all in, the experience, to your point too. It's not just the food, it's how you eat it and on what you eat it and the way which you approach the food, whether it's a Twinkie or not. That's big. That's huge.
That's definitely self-love, but is it also about allowing? Because you talk about, allowing, being mindful, allowing, and when we're creating, instead of creating that Twinkie on my thigh, which is exactly where only on one, Jeanna, not the other.
That's why you had to eat the second one.
How did you know? Exactly.
I know your rationale. I know.
That's true. Okay. But where was I? Okay. So even if you are going to sit and have that mindful, beautiful moment where we make it a treat, we make it special. And, isn't that more like allowing your body to process it and not have it stick on your thigh? I mean, what are your thoughts on that?
So that's, I don't believe that any food really can make you fat or is bad for you, but you have to be in alignment with it. So you have to know that you're going to feel good before, during, and after, because our guilty thoughts interrupt our digestive process. And that's why our bodies and our digestive system is conflicted. So if I'm eating in my mind all day long, I'm thinking about what I'm going to eat. And as I'm thinking about it, I know every single detail and how it's going to taste when it gets to my mouth. I know everything. And literally by the time I get to the point where I'm going to eat it, I've already eaten it.
Right.
So if I'm going to eat it, okay, but I'm already like so full. So that is alignment. Get into alignment with what you're going to eat or what you're going to do before you do it.
I love that.
So if I'm having wine tonight, I need to get in alignment. No, I'm serious. Yeah. I'm having friends come over tonight. I was like, oh shoot, I gotta have, no, serious. I'm going to give you my thought. This is the real deal, you guys. I have friends coming over. They like to have a drink. I like to be a great hostess. It fills me up to be a great host. Yes. I love people over. I love hosting. Makes me happy. I'm never resentful, ever. Okay. However, I think, oh my God, how much wine can I have? I'm going to gain weight from that. Look at Jamie's face. She's like, no, everything else. No. Okay. I realize how preposterous this is, but I'm just explaining.
But that is how you think.
Well, and there are a million other people think like that.
I do too. Exactly.
Maybe not about wine.
That's exactly. I meant you, but that's proverbial.
I'm not even, and you know what I do? Because I bring out the nice plates that look girly, that are beautiful. They're going to be pink so I already know what's coming out, the beautiful glasses. Oh, I might she gave me edible sparkles, Jamie, to put in the champagne. It looks like they're like,
that sounds great.
I mean, it is the essence of, I don't know. I mean, fancy. It's a lot. I mean, it's like heaven in a glass. I mean, I think, okay. So, all this beautiful, so obviously I love these people. I love myself enough but all I can think of is, okay, well, I don't want to put anything down there that I'm going to overeat on. I don't want to put out cheese because I don't want to eat any cheese. Okay. And then I know I'm crazy. Okay. So
hold on a second. Yes. So really the message you're giving yourself is that you don't trust yourself.
No, I don't. That's exactly true.
But
not with food.
It isn't just a message. That is the reality.
That is the reality.
I think you can trust yourself. The thing is that when we eat to feel better, it doesn't work. But when we feel good and then we go to eat to accentuate our already good feeling place,
that's a quote, Jeanna.
Is a win-win. So go do all that tonight and feel really, really good. And from that good feeling place, choose what you want to eat and trust yourself.
Yeah. Okay.
What you want to eat, how much you want to eat, all of it will be good.
Oh, that's so good.
No, it's so true too.
That is very true.
Mm-hmm.
I think so. Yeah, that is incredible. I mean, look at you have permission.
You have permission to be in alignment.
You're going to be a good girl.
You do.
Yes.
Yes.
You're going to do whatever you're going to do and feel good about it before, during, and after.
Before, during, and after. Absolutely. Okay. I love that.
Gosh, that's so good.
I love.
So when you kind of settled in this work, Jamie, can you talk a little bit about, I feel like, we had a goal for this podcast and these conversations. And, I think anybody who kind of does this kind of work has an overarching goal. What, with your work and these conversations and your book and all those things, like what is the mark you want to leave on with your clients and those of us who've had the pleasure of spending time and conversation with you?
To trust yourself, to know yourself, to love yourself, and to feel good. That's the point of this life, is to feel good. I mean, otherwise, what is the point?
Right.
Yeah. I mean, and you can feel good, but it doesn't come from another person.
Yeah.
It comes from self.
Right.
So self-service first. They tell you when you get on an airplane, put your mask on, then assist other people. That's so counterintuitive to most people. But how can you assist anybody if you don't have anything to give? It's just, start with you. It's just small and then more and whatever you need. But give yourself what you're wanting another to give you. And especially Valentine's Day, go out and give yourself the gift that you're hoping someone is going to give you, because then you won't be disappointed. You'll be freaking happy.
I love it. What a beautiful, it's so.
I want an expensive necklace, Jeanna.
I know.
Go buy it.
Yes.
Go buy it.
Yes, go buy it. Don't look at me.
Really, give these things to yourself. People wait their whole life wishing someone else would give them these things. Yeah. And then they're disappointed. For ridiculous.
Yeah.
It makes zero sense.
And it's so profound and yet so simple.
So simple. So simple. All this stuff is so simple, which means everybody can do it if they want to. It's a choice.
It is a choice. It's interesting. And I don't know how this, I don't know what the question here is, but just humor me. So, because when I think about allowing and I think about, trust yourself, the word that keeps coming up for me is controlling. Like, does that mean I can't control things? How we think we are controlling I'm controlling how much I eat. I'm counting my macros.
Jamie looks like she wants to hang up.
Why?
To make myself miserable and to not be in joy.
I do think we're over-programmed in this life to, there's got to be some structure or some rigor.
I want to be vigilant, committed, rigor.
If you're not working hard, you're not doing it right.
So you think you're going to get a freaking trophy? You're just not. You're not getting a trophy. It's not happening.
I'd give you a trophy, but you won't care.
But she's right. None has shown up so far. That is so true. There is no trophy.
No, there's no trophy.
No,
there really isn't.
The dark circles, there's something, but they're not a trophy, to your point. They're not.
Well, and once you take personal responsibility, then you understand you have created all those dark circles. You can't blame your family or your employer, because you have made choices to support not being in a place of well-being. And now you can make a different choice. You can really begin to nourish yourself and to nurture yourself. And you know that you're responsible for the outcome, which is going to be delicious and wonderful. And that's so self-empowering.
Yeah.
Talk about people who don't want other people to help them. Well, empower yourself then in such a way that, you know, the outcome is really beautiful and powerful and wonderful and positive.
Right.
And then you can take responsibility for it and say, I did this for myself. And look, now I can be available for you.
I love that.
What a great gift.
Yeah.
Well, okay. So I'm going to blow everybody's mind right now.
Here it comes.
Well, it's Jamie's words, not mine. Okay.
Yeah.
So I love the fact that procrastination has gotten it has a bad rap, but Jamie has rebranded it. You know, I'm a fan of rebranding shit.
I know.
Okay. So she's rebranded procrastination to be like the best thing on the planet.
Well,
okay?
listen,
it's your friend.
See, look, it's her friend, and she's
now I should get an award.
Miss P, procrastination.
I should get an award for that because I am pretty good at it. Yes,
that's excellent. Then
I get in trouble from it.
Nobody's gonna understand that.
You are very smart because you know that when you are procrastinating, that means that you're giving yourself time to get in alignment with the task at hand.
That is very true.
If you did it without being in alignment, it would be disastrous.
Oftentimes that is what it is, especially in the workplace. That is exactly what it is. I cannot get there yet, but I've got to give myself some time, some space, get centered on it so that I can do it.
And you always do it. You always do it.
I do.
I do.
And it's always great. You know, it's funny, Jamie, because when I read that, I was like, I have to, because my daughter makes herself wrong for procrastinating. And I don't get on her, like I'm not, but she always makes herself wrong. Right. And I'm going to show up now and say, that's a gift. You're getting in alignment. I mean, I'm like a new student. I'm a new teacher because of you, Jamie. Yes. This is like, I mean, it blew my mind.
You're going to start getting royalties from Holli on a regular basis for like,
that's right.
Yeah, she gets royalties.
Because I was like, oh my God, I can give her that gift of setting her free from that shame or whatever you're giving, whatever heaping of horse shit you're giving yourself.
Right.
Because
nobody doesn't want to do it. Like, I don't enjoy not doing it either. I wish I could get there quicker sometimes, but that's your personality.
The thing is that for us to do something when we're not ready, we're going through the motions. But for us to be inspired and then take action, usually it ends up like brilliant. So we have to wait for the inspiration and trust ourselves that it will come.
Yeah.
Or it won't come. But it comes in its own time, in its own way. It comes. And then it's brilliant.
Yeah. Well, thank you for that. Listen, I'm maybe reformed on the rebranding situation, I think. Yes. I think I like this now more than ever.
I know. It's a compliment now.
It is a compliment.
Who knew? But I love that. I think that's really beautiful. Thank you. I mean, we're laughing, but I'm so very deeply grateful for that, because I think I can be helpful at least to one other person in this world. I'm not a procrastinator.
You could be more helpful to me in this area.
Yes. I won't make you wrong, Jeanna, when you get our notes late all the time.
But I do.
But they're brilliant. Be helpful to yourself. You don't need to be helpful anymore to anyone. No. We're taking you off the hook. That's it. Now you're just going to be helpful to yourself, and then you'll find that you're helpful to everybody. Yeah. Just naturally, it'll just freaking happen.
Yeah. Thank you.
I mean, I love that. I feel like the procrastination is the most beautiful reframing of a potentially bad story, right? Like, I'm a bad because I'm a procrastinator, to, okay, I'm actually really, you said, Jeanna, you're really smart. Okay. And
absolutely though.
So I think she used the word brilliant, but keep going.
It was brilliant.
I didn't hear brilliant. Okay. Like, you're forcing her into that, Jeanna. I mean, you're making her upgrade.
You're going to listen to the audio. You're going to hear brilliant too. Yeah. Keep going.
No, so I was going to say that, you know, one of the things that I found really fascinating about you is that you love reframing stories, right? And like, she can reframe any bad story. And so do you have an example? I mean, I've already given so many bad stories. I don't trust myself. Yeah. No, you know, but are there any like really great stories you can share about reframing something for somebody that, I mean, the procrastination really is an aha moment. I'm not joking about that. It's a big deal for so many people, and it's a gift. It truly is. So do you have other stories like that, or do you want to take one of our problems and reframe them? I don't know what I'm asking for.
More than you know,
I think every problem is an opportunity. And when you look at it that way, you find a way to find the upside in everything. And it feels so much better. And then you can move forward to whatever that next, whatever is. And, you know, our upbringing was such that we never had consequences. It was just an outcome. And so if something happened and it wasn't a positive outcome, then we just did something different. But that ability to just keep trying, looking at things differently and moving forward, I think it really helps us, because otherwise we get stuck and paralyzed. That doesn't feel good. And then we replay that moment over and over and over again. And nothing good comes out of it. And it's so unnecessary. That's the other thing. It's so freaking unnecessary, except it keeps us as a victim. And a lot of people like to be victims. And this society rewards victims. So, you know, it's, I don't know.
Yeah, no, that's fascinating.
Our society rewards victims.
We do.
Yeah, we do. We do.
I never thought of it like that.
Yeah.
So when you take personal responsibility, you'll have less friends, because you'll have less disastrous stories to tell. And because you'll be the victim of nothing, you'll be very happy. People don't like happy people. People like misery. Misery loves company. So, you know, and so be it. That's a choice.
Wow.
So Jamie just told us we're going to be alone in the world. No, what's interesting about that is we've been going through, you know, conversations about how friendships have changed. And I've never been the person that likes to, I mean, you know, at work, it was like this, even at home, like be the gossipy. I'm just not interested. I was always interested in, okay, well, what's the latest book did you read? Oh, Eckhart Tolle. Oh, okay. Well, what did you learn? You know, like I was always interested in something more interesting. Okay. But what does happen is you are less interested. You're exactly right, Jamie. You're less interesting. I mean, people would just call me the hippie. Okay. They would call me like the hippie.
Yeah.
I still got invited occasionally, but you know, like you're not the fan favorite because you don't have all those gossipy things. I don't even like to talk about it, you know, and then I feel bad for people. I'm a lot of Pisces. So I'll be like, oh my God, they're having trouble with their husband. Oh no. Okay. Like I feel bad, you know? And I was like, well, I don't need that either. Okay.
Right. You felt bad, but you had no intel. So
I mean, it's okay to feel better, and what happens is you attract more positive people in your life. Don't you think, Jamie?
I do think. And I think if someone's having trouble with her husband, you know, you can say to them, wow, what a wonderful opportunity to start thinking about how you're contributing to that.
And then you would not get invited again.
Okay, but you wait to lay that statement on until like they're 4 drinks in.
Yeah.
Okay, and then you kind of just lay that on, and then they'll start crying.
And you grab a piece of cheese and run.
Yeah.
That's what you do, Holly.
Get a cracker. Get a cracker.
Yeah. Don't feel bad about any of it. Yeah. So true.
Oh
so true.
Well, you know, it's been such a beautiful time talking to you today. How do people get a hold of you? How do they, I mean, I know that you offer services, and can you talk a little bit about how people can get a hold of you and all of that for our listeners?
I have a website. It's www.jamie-lerner.com. And also I have a service called the Quickie. It's a lovely texting option, which I love that service because it really holds people accountable for what they're texting me and what I'm texting them back. And lo and behold, when they go back and read some of those things, they had the answer all along, and I just become the conduit. So it's a great service. Yeah, and all that stuff is on the website. And
I mean, talk about personal connection.
Do you do individual sessions still?
I do. I do individual sessions. We do Zoom. We do telephone. But people really enjoy the texting, as do
I love the quickie. I was like, are you kidding? I signed me up. I was like, well, I love the idea that it's called the quickie.
I know. It's kind of edgy.
I was like,
I like it how edgy it is.
I know.
That's, I mean, that's not self-love. It's, I mean, that's usually takes somebody, but nonetheless. I know. And the other thing is like, she gets back to you fast. Okay. No, I love it.
I know. And I was like,
but it also like sidesteps some of the emotional content, which is good. And kind of, you kind of get kind of to the point quickly, which I think is helpful, especially because we're way too emotional, and all that emotion is just a lot of noise, and it really gets in the way to the problem solving. And
well, it's a lot of energy too, right? That emotion carries a ton of energy and that will drain you.
Yes, and so that could be redirected towards something that really could empower you and energize you, and
wow.
So LOA Uncorked needs to get a quickie.
You really get a quickie.
So like, for example, so like if I am a client, LOA Uncorked's a client of yours, and Jeanna and I are, what's our problem?
We have interpersonal discrepancies.
Well, no.
My procrastination is becoming a problem for Holly.
Okay. So we text you, we say, okay, that's fine. We text you and say, okay, well, she's not doing a group quickie. That's a threesome.
That's not a
quickie.
That's a quickie threesome. That's a higher cost, I'm sure of that. Yeah.
I think we have to pay a premium.
I feel so too. But extended service. Keep going.
But I'm just trying to give an example for our audience of like, what could they text her? Because oftentimes you'd be like, okay, well, that's not big enough to text.
Can you give us an example of like the kinds of things that your clients have come to you with?
She would say procrastinate is a gift, Holly, and let her get inspired. I'd be like, oh yeah, you're right, Jamie. And we move on. Okay, that one's an easy one. But what's your typical quickie question?
People have relationship issues, clearly. But it's so interesting because those relationships issues have nothing to do with the relationship at all. So to text back something about how that individual person is actually feeling. So you're really getting the person to look at themselves quickly without all that noise of the relationship. And I think that goes for anything. It's never about the other, no matter what it is. Work, relationships, people divorce, it's about yourself. So, when we can start looking at every single interaction as a reflection of where we are with ourselves, it really helps. We take every other person out of the equation. And then we really get to work on ourselves in such a way that at the end, we're thanking every single person that we interacted with. It's like, thank you for helping me see where I am with myself. Thank you.
The negative, the positive, the everything.
Well, there's no negative. There is no negative. It's not a negative. It's just where we are in a moment with ourselves. It doesn't have to be negative. It just is.
Right.
You don't have to be ourselves.
And you've been saying that forever. I mean, I'm going to tell you,
but it's
hard
to practice. It's harder to
Jeanna,
practice.
It's not him.
It's not about him. It's about you.
But it's not even you. It's about your experience. It's about where you are with yourself in the moment.
That moment.
That's it. Because in the next moment, you're somewhere else with yourself. So if you can just break it down to one single moment, and then the next moment, it could be completely different. And you don't have to make yourself wrong about any of it. It's a reflection. That's all it is. It's information. What do you want to do with the information? And that information is very empowering. And then you're like, oh my goodness, this is like so silly. Why am I taking this all so seriously?
Right.
I need to just like lighten up and eat a Twinkie. I just
on a pretty plate, a pretty damn plate,
like fork and knife. Well, and it's, I mean, gosh, Jamie, your hardwiring must be like beautiful, incredibly.
I want her astrology
in like accountability.
I want her astrology chart. I kept looking at her, going, "What's her sun, moon, and rising?"
Yeah, no doubt.
I know.
But her accountability is off the chart. Like,
don't say committed or vigilant or any of those crazy words.
No, it's beautiful. It's beautiful. It's like, let's be accountable to self first.
I'm impossible to offend. Nobody offends me. My kids get so frustrated with me. They're like, Mom, you let everyone off the hook. Everyone. I said, of course I do. This has nothing to do with the other person. So no one can offend me. No one can upset me.
Wow.
No one, I mean, I'm just like, okay, you know, if you're upset with me, okay, I am certain that has something to do with you.
Yeah.
If I'm upset with you, I know that has something to do with me.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And when everyone takes personal responsibility, then relationships are so, well, they're fun, but they're also really rich in connection.
Right. Just completely powerful. Right. Oh my gosh.
It's so good. We should have just laid on a couch, Jeanna. I would have had, you could have had one side, I had the other, and we could have just, you know, podcast from a couch.
We really.
Oh my God. I could talk to you
time.
forever.
I see a couch right behind
I know.
Jamie. So
I want to go
right
run and
there
do
next
Valentine's Day there. Okay, everyone. It is Valentine's. And we do know it'll be right after. I think we're gonna scoot this one up.
It'll come. I think come right Thursday, right before.
Yeah, right before Valentine's Day. And we want you to just, you don't have to commit, but check in with yourself and what do you need, and do a little meditation for yourself. And are there any other homework suggestions? Well, it's home play, really. Or what are we calling it? Level up assignments.
Uncorked up level assignments.
Yeah.
So
every single person should buy themselves a Valentine's Day gift.
Oh, I love that.
From themselves. I bought myself a Valentine's Day gift, a gorgeous jacket for my husband. And I said, thank you so much for buying me this beautiful Valentine's Day gift. And he's like, no, thank you for taking care of it.
Oh,
God, I love that.
Isn't it great to get something that you actually want? I mean, my God,
he's so lucky.
He is so lucky. I know. No doubt.
Okay, everybody should buy themselves a great Valentine's Day present.
And spend just one day, just give it a try. See how it feels for you. 5 minutes, just checking in. And if it feels good, do it the next morning.
Yeah.
Do it the next morning.
Okay, we're going to have everything in the show notes so you can get a hold of Jamie and get a quickie. I want one.
No reasons. She'll have to work on branding.
That'll be too much.
It's not on the website at this point.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. And we are in such deep appreciation for your time. We really love
you. Girls are fun.
Our conversation. I think it's mind-blowing, a lot of the things that you said, and I think our audience is going to be so inspired.
Talk about
thank
a gift.
you so much.
A gift to us all. So thank you.
Thank you.
It's a pleasure, Jamie. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.